Hello, good evening. Welcome to another date on Journalist Hangout. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. On the program this evening, Amnesty International urges the federal government to end gruesome killings in the country, and later on, we'll share this with you. President Buhari orders background checks on judges designate. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju. Jide, welcome.
Citizen Jones.
We have Wale Adetayo. Wale, I greet you. Welcome.
Adetayo.
Adetayo, okay. I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
And then, of course, Adekunle Yusuf is here.
I'm
Gentlemen, welcome. So let's hit the road. All right, welcome back. Global Human Rights Watch, Amnesty International, has urged the Nigerian federal government to very urgently put an end to what it terms an epidemic of gruesome killings across the country. As an adjunct to the sickening development, Rivers State Governor Barrister Nyesom Wike has announced a 640 million bounty for the capture of 32 cultists in 12 local government areas of the state. Sleep has been gruesomely murdered in this country. Jide, good evening, welcome. Let's go.
And it seems like taking people's lives has become second nature to some people in our country. In Taraba State, yesterday, 20 persons were given mass burial. They were attacked by the Fulani militia in 5 communities. I remember some months back, there was a clash in the Mambila area between the Fulani and the farmers. So what is particularly painful to Amnesty is the fact that this cycle of killings and reprisal killings, you know, don't look like it will end.
Soon.
Yes, don't look like it will end soon. So Amnesty is saying, look, if the authorities do not put people on trial, if they do not set examples with some people, that this will not end. And Amnesty International is saying, don't just issue threats. Bring people to book.
As they say, walk the talk.
Yes. Don't just issue threats.
Okay.
Bring people to justice. That is what they are saying. And in their view, that is the only way these killings can stop.
Kule, I'm a little disturbed here, especially concerning the fact that we label these groups Fulani this, Fulani that. You think that's advisable at a point like this? Fulani headsmen, Fulani, you have, I don't know if you understand what I mean. As Jide had said.
I don't think there's anything wrong in it.
Okay.
Because
especially if you are able to identify the culprits.
Because they are not new in our terrain. Those predominantly involved in this kind of business are Fulani. But when Nigeria was Nigeria, they were not this violent, they were not this murderous. That time, the only thing you see with them, they have this long stick. The Yoruba will call it Okpa Fulani. I think I'm right. But the one you call Fulani herdsmen today are far different from what we grew up with. These ones go around with sophisticated, weapons. They tend to want us to believe that they keep these weapons to protect their cattle, and in the process of protecting their cattle, they can kill as many as possible among human beings who are cheaper in terms of worth than the cattle. So I don't have any problem with that. Initially, I thought it would be, I realized that that's, but the problem we have here is that in our own climb, we've allowed these herdsmen to hold the nation to ransom. They have a free day to do whatever they want to do. Unfortunately, the presidency is not doing enough to arrest this thing.
Hence the Amnesty International coming in. While it's again, would you say they were pushed? If you understand my metaphor here, were they pushed?
What did they?
These herdsmen, were they pushed or they took a dive? Because grazing is as old as the country.
No, I'm sorry. I don't think I'll go the way of your question.
No, mine is just to prompt you.
I understand.
Yeah.
The thing is, you need to look at this thing holistically. We are talking about impunity here. We spoke about rivers, spoke about Taraba. We are talking about the herdsmen generally, what they've been doing all over the place. You see, one of the things that made some people to vote for General Muhammadu Buhari in 2015 was the promise to end the culture of impunity in Nigeria. When people do something and they know there will be definite sanction, they will stop doing those things. But unfortunately, Buhari has failed 100% on that score. Because at the level of politics too, he promised a while back that he was going to look into the cases of political assassinations in the country, the unresolved cases of political assassinations.
Yeah.
But up till tomorrow, he's still mum on that. And that's why I said it has a lot to do with impunity. Whether they were pushed, whether they were called, whether they were whatever, no matter where you are coming from, Niger, Mali, or whatever, you can imagine Nigerians who are living in the U.S. importing armed Nigerians in the U.S. or even taking them to Liberia to go and fight their battles. Because they know that the law enforcement agencies there, the security agencies there, they're not going to take it easy with them. They will not go there. Some people kill people today. You are calling a meeting, and right there, even before you call your meeting, some people go ahead to address a press conference that because they killed so many number of cows, they have to take revenge because they did it. In a sane country, those are the first suspects. And that's why I said it's impunity, because they know that when they do it, they have big men behind them who are going to secure their release. They have big men behind them who will not allow those who should act on time to act. They have pillars behind them. And that is what also happens with political violence. So it's still the same impunity we're talking about. And that's why I said General Muhammadu Buhari has failed 100% on that. Because if you act on impunity, forget all this talk about corruption, whatever, will fade away now. I mean, fine, we'll still talk about the judges' thing. But the reality is that you dare not overstep your bounds when you know that no matter how high you are, no matter how big you are, no matter the size of money you have in your pocket, you commit the crime, you go for the time. End of story.
Yeah.
So once we tackle impunity, whether you be herdsmen or whatever, guns come from somewhere now. AK-47 is not licensed for anybody in Nigeria. Nobody has this thing to carry AK-47. And somebody can come out and say, because some things were attacked, that is why they are using AK-47 to kill people. You understand what I'm saying? So definitely you must explain the sources of your arms and things like that.
Yeah.
It's impunity. That's just it.
Gidi, these are crazy times. They keep trying men's souls. Conspiracy theorists are talking about a seeming ambivalence of Mr. President, just as he has said. Is he deliberately being ambivalent, or he is not getting reports?
It's difficult to say it's deliberately ambivalent, because I don't see that as the nature of the man. And this is a man that I've known for years. If you talk about the president and you tell me that he gets misled now and then, I will agree with you. And that is why my anger most of the time is directed at the people who work with the president, because you are supposed to
He's
help
information
him.
manager.
Yes, you are supposed to help him
to
run the country the right way. So if certain things are going wrong, the kind of people that the president needs around him are the people who will tell him the truth. Those who will say, look, Mr. President, this is the right thing to do. I know you are my boss. I know you can fire me, but I'm telling you that this is the right thing to do, and if you do not do this, you may regret it. Those are the kind of people that the president needs around him now. Those who can look into his eyes and not think that there will be repercussions, you know,
for saying it as it is.
Yes, those are people that he needs in these trying times. So if we said it yesterday that he needs to call a stakeholders meeting and tell them, look, I need you to help me solve this problem. How do we go about it? And the Vanguard reported last night that the president has agreed to call a stakeholders meeting, an expanded stakeholders meeting, to address this problem.
Jide,
That is good. That is what we want to see.
It's what I'm-
Ultimately,
yeah.
the solution will come. What all Nigerians want to see now is decisive action taken against those who are spilling innocent blood. Because most of the time it's innocent people that they are killing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
You know, so those who are spilling innocent blood, Nigerians want to see decisive action taken against them. The kind of resources that we mustered, the kind of determination that the soldiers demonstrated when they went to the east to tackle IPOB, we want to see that demonstrated in tackling
especially in this
herdsmen
measure.
issue.
Yeah. Kunle, every state in this country has security votes. So now let's talk about chief security officers in states, especially in these states concerned here. Should they not do more than we are seeing now?
What do you mean by did not do more than?
Shouldn't they do?
Shouldn't they do more than we are seeing now? That's what I mean. I mean, as the chief security officer of a particular state.
I understand you, but the governors, especially when you are in the ruling party, I don't know why you should fear to do more than this. If a Fayose, who is not on the platform of the ruling party, will go ahead and do certain things, and some of these things are working, I don't know whatever anybody feels. Believe me, whatever you do to save human lives and property, believe me, it's welcome.
Yeah.
You see, while the presidency is being accused here, you have a lot of problems. This matter didn't start today. But under Buhari, it has become a hydra-handed problem that is now tearing every part of Nigeria apart. But can you credit any statement to President Muhammadu Buhari against Miyetti Allah, and others? And the people around Buhari, as Jide said, they don't help him. One old man who is old enough to become an elder statesman in this country is accusing former President, Atiku Abubakar as one of the patrons of Miyetti Allah.
Yeah.
Look at the news every day. Miyetti Allah waxes stronger. They are never ashamed of what they do. They even issue out threats on a daily basis. And people should know, President Muhammadu Buhari was never elected to fight corruption alone. He was never elected to fight Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast alone. He was elected because Nigerians believe that he can solve most of the problems that have stymied our march towards, national development. And believe me, one of them is this, herdsmen, menace. When Goodluck Jonathan came at the time, there was the problem of Boko Haram. It was a small issue, just like this one. It started developing. It started enveloping the nation before you know it. Goodluck Jonathan was always busy, including his aides. Oh, it's because they didn't want me, because I'm not a Southerner. It's because I'm not a Northerner. And before you know it, a small issue snowballed into a national malice. I'm seeing a similar trend here. President Muhammadu Buhari, we need to sit up. I don't know, Judy said his aides should help him. He himself knows some of the solution. Please, harass some of these people and prosecute them. Because I know some of the problems his aides are having is that they look at his body language.
Okay.
He has not come out to condemn it. And because of that, how will the IGP, Inspector General of Police, describe the pogrom in Benue State as a communal clash? That's not a communal clash. And why did you rush into judgment when you have not done any investigation? You've not made any arrest. You've not prosecuted
There's
anybody.
the latest report as we sit here that more killings had been going on. Well, but let's look at the adjunct to the whole thing. Takes us to Rivers State. Now, in this case, we are not talking about herdsmen. We are talking about militancy, or if you like, cultists. The state governor has offered a 640 million bounty. The bounty itself is likely to create a lot of debate.
No, I don't think what Governor Wike did in terms of that is correct. that money will have gone a long way to help the Nigeria police force in the River State. And if he's really serious about internal security in a state, there is nothing wrong in doing what Lagos has done with their neighborhood and civil, almost something small, close to state police or something like that, that we're watching around for. I mean, half of this we do, if have more than
Go
what
a
they are
long
doing.
way.
In Kano, you have the Hizbah. The Islamic police are arresting people for different kind of things. If a wiki had done that, I mean, to me, 640 million naira is just like another money going for the boys for just 32 people in a small state like River State. What the man should have done is to proactively on his own, because like he said earlier, what the man should have done is to proactively on his own, because like he said earlier, I mean. Fine, we are blaming Buhari because the buck stops on unstable. But for God's sake, there are chief executives of state. What has been the initiative of these governors to stem the tide of these killings? But like I mentioned earlier, like in the case of Rivers, don't forget, there is a history there. It's impunity. Because once guys are arrested, call will come from Abuja that they should be released. Once they are arrested, it's either one corner of the place or the other. They will call that those people be released. So once they know that people will always set them free, at the end of the day, they will still continue with their killing spree, no matter the amount of money you are spending, because others are coming up. And these ones you have arrested, I mean, they will soon be released and they will go back to their normal nefarious businesses. So for me, this money, to me, it should go to boost the internal security of River State in a way that is enduring. Not just a question of giving out money just like that. Build your own security apparatus. Why the federal government might say they are not giving you arms? And I was very, very sad reading about that of Benue. Was it yesterday or 2 days ago? That some of the vigilantes set up by the Benue State government, they were arrested by soldiers for carrying arms. But I think it's the governor that should be blamed for that. If you're going to arrest people who are trying to help me with my, then you take me with them. I will go there. It's not possible. Because while these people were attacking, you didn't do nothing. And now my own people, the people I set up to stop that kind of killings, you are arresting them. What for?
Wale, thank you.
Claiming that they were involved in an attack.
Exactly.
Jide,
I won't allow it.
He has touched on something. To cure any malaise, cure the cause. This cultism and militancy in River State has a history. People tend to play that down. Dates back to the early days.
Yeah, but the government came up with an amnesty program, just similar to what we did during the Yaradua era, and what Ondo State has done recently. You saw the harvest of assault weapons that those people turned in. So in River State, the government came up with an amnesty program. These guys who have been declared wanted, they accepted the amnesty program, but after a while, they went back to it. Because they have been so stewed in criminality that it looked like they were just fishes out of water. You know, they do not want to embrace peace. You said, okay, you are no longer going to be killing people, kidnapping people. So the amnesty program, you embraced it, but you went back, and that's why the governor is angry. People say all kinds of things about Wike, but I'm aware of the efforts that the governor has made to try to rein in these criminal elements, these thugs and kidnappers in River State. If you are driving through River State, you are in public transport, every minute you should be saying your prayer, because kidnappers in River State go after buses and other commercial buses, and they kidnap people, take them into the bush. So they will now tell you to be contacting your people, you know, so that they can make money. That is how they make money, and they become really big. Some of them eventually even become traditional rulers. So, but the thing is, the governor, in his own way, because if you know Rivers, even Diobu, that Diobu alone, used to be just dominated by all kinds of criminals. But the governor thinks that the people will provide information, because they've been gunning for these guys for some time, he believes that the people will provide information that can lead to the arrest of those guys. That's why he offered the money. Perhaps the fact that, he first placed 200 million on the head of Winnie. Perhaps the information that they got led them to Enugu State. Maybe somebody provided
Go after
information.
him.
Yes, where they eventually gunned him
it
down.
is more about the incentive, Yusuf. It's more about the incentive. If I get Jide correctly.
I think local politics is also involved. When you look at Rivers was in
It was called the Garden City.
I'm coming. Rivers was in a big, militancy crisis when Amici came in at the time.
Yeah.
And before you know it, Amici was able to chase out many of these, bandits. Many of them later left the state and all that. But the problem started again when Amici had issues with the then president, Goodluck Jonathan. The problem with the commissioner of police, withdraw of this, withdraw of that. At the end of the day, these old boys returned. Before you know it, so the problem has been brewing since that time, because at a point in Rivers State, everywhere was peaceful. Now, there is no longer, so you will see an Amici trade wars with the man that is in charge now. You see a Wike, accusing. It's because politics is involved. And now, we are in the era of killings. So Nigerians don't feel outraged that 200 people killed somewhere else, as long as their relations, are involved.
Yeah. As long as yours is safe.
So from Rivers to the herdsmen to everywhere, that's why Nigerians have become. There is no way in a place you kill 70, people, and the president of the country will not find it easy to rush down there, suspend everything, and rush down there. 70 people.
50 people are dead.
That's a lot of human beings in terms of casualty. But believe me, I return this question to President Muhammadu Buhari. He has one image that people still vividly recollect, and I want him to change that image. You see, when you go back to 1999 in Oyo State and many parts of Yoruba land, the herdsmen were, having a feed day, killing, murdering people.
God bless you.
But when you look at, the problem got to a head on October 13, 2000, in year 2000. Buhari, Muhammadu, Marwa, and many others, they led a delegation to the late Lam Adesina, governor of Oyo State. They all wore long faces, and they read a petition against the governor that the governor was maltreating the herdsmen. But what did Lam Adesina do? A very brilliant and old horse. What did he do? He didn't, because he thought he was being provoked. He just called all the heads of federal security agencies in the state. That this is a former head of state, this is a former governor of Lagos, this is a that. Please respond to what they have said. By the time the heads of security agencies finished their submissions, the then former head of state Buhari and his entourage from Arewa consultative, they felt ashamed that they were just backing.
Perhaps misinformed.
People still have such memories of him. I want him to erase it with his office. He has all it takes to.
That's why action has not been taken.
He can do it.
He can do it.
He can do it. Wale, he can. Time is of the essence.
Exactly. The thing is, you know why I pity him? He's an old man. Time is running out. What legacy does he want to leave for himself? Because right now, the only thing most people remember about you, like you rightly pointed out, that's the second one. The first one was his military outing. Yeah, somebody sent something to me on is it WhatsApp or something. There was the crimes of General Muhammadu Buhari. That thing came up maybe 2011 or something like that. There's so many negative issues about you. You have this brilliant opportunity, this first-time opportunity now to turn things around. In case your time is up, you go to meet your maker, what will you be remembered for? You want to be remembered as an ethnic champion and somebody who's protecting his own kings while they kill people all over the place? Or, I think there was a newspaper, maybe Cable or Premium Times, I was reporting a story by Obasanjo yesterday. President Obasanjo spoke somewhere. and President Buhari was not mentioned as one of those trying to turn Africa around. Why? They were trying to inject some things into it. History is being written, whether he likes it or not. Whether it runs in 2019 or it does not concern him. But history is being written. You will be remembered for good or for bad. Right now, I don't think he's after money. Right now, I don't think he's after children. Right now, I don't think he's after promotion or getting any office.
He's not even after power now.
He's not even after power now. What President Buhari should be after right now is a name, a legacy for himself. After he must have left office, whether he's alive or not does not matter. Jiwagolowo died in 1987. And for God's sake, you mention a name in certain places, you mention it in a bad name, you get a serious beating. And the man has long been dead.
Yeah.
So what I feel he should do for himself is to win himself of this unnecessary sympathy. He's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. IPOD didn't kill anybody the other day. We discuss IPOD here now. The soldiers moved there for God's sake.
He solved the problem.
The soldiers moved there.
Yeah.
This same president
to me,
solved the problem.
He's not looking at tomorrow.
This same president solved the problem.
Yes, now.
Believe me. Remember when
tomorrow,
OPC was a big issue in Yoruba land at the time? President Obasanjo, what did he do?
Kill aside.
He rounded up this new Ààrẹ Ọ̀nà Kakanfò, Dr. Fashinwa. They were given, what did they do? They sit up.
Bring them in.
They sat up.
Jide, in taking it home, let's look at, there are two sides to any coin, although somebody says there's a third side. The third side hardly stands. The second side is this. State chief executives must be a tripartite arrangement here. The presidency, the state governors, and stakeholders. I don't know if the picture I'm painting is clear.
That in solving this problem.
In solving the problem. Because looking in the direction of the president alone is not enough.
No. That's certainly not enough. But you see, the current federal agreement that we have does not give governors that much power when we are talking about security. I heard they were talking about the neighborhood corps that the governor set up here. Bado was killing people recklessly here. On this program, we said, what have they been doing, that neighborhood corps? Because naturally, that should be their forte.
Yeah.
They should be able to identify the bad boys in the community.
But they don't have guns.
We had to challenge the OPC on this program. We had to challenge the OPC, and Gani Adams stepped in, and the whole thing came down. Until recently, when we heard that they killed some people again. At that time, they were killing people every day.
It was every day, yes.
Gani Adams stepped in, he joined the police, they raided the community, and they arrested the roughnecks, the bad boys who were murdering people for fun. So the governors, yes, they have security vote, but in my view, security vote is actually not used for security. It's not used for security. When you hear security vote, it's not really, it is when they want to give people gifts, maybe their friends, girlfriends, other people. These are the people that they give gifts. They give gifts on security vote. So people should not imagine that when you hear security vote, the money is meant for security. No, it's for miscellaneous use.
Okay. We have a Tony reaching us from London. Tony, welcome.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Welcome, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Hello, Mr. Ostojus. It's an honor to speak to you on the phone.
Go on.
I just want to make a contribution to the ongoing discussion regarding the security situation in Nigeria.
Yes.
I think Nigerians need to wake up and stop fooling themselves about the, Mr. Ostojus just mentioned about the current federal arrangement in Nigeria right now until the restructuring takes place. Nothing is going to change in Nigeria. And I need to tell you this today. This current president, he has fooled Nigerians.
Go on.
He's gone.
Lost the call to him.
I was going to give the example of what transpired in Plateau State. The killings in Plateau State in the year 2000 and even after that. Remember, for a long time, the governor, Jonah Jang said, when these killings began, and he called Abuja, that help didn't come on time. And as the governor, you are not in charge of, you may have a military base in your state. You are not in charge. You can't give them instruction. Help didn't come. By the time help came, people had been killed. It happened to Guanyi, the governor of Enugu State, when herdsmen invaded the community. He raised an alarm. Before Abuja responded, so many people had been killed. And even the commissioner of police in your state, you are not in charge. It does not report to you. It takes instructions from Abuja. So when people, I don't know, even people that, if a governor sets up a militia, a counter militia, the police will go in and disarm the militia. Soldiers will come in and disarm the militia. That's where we've seen that happen in Benue now. When these killings, when the governor came up with this law, he set up the livestock guards. Those livestock guards, their duty was to ensure that the law was not contravened. But what did the herdsmen do? They started the killing with those livestock guards. They killed scores of livestock guards before even going after villagers.
Okay, Gillian, let me quickly take Samson in Kaduna. Welcome, Samson.
Good evening.
Yeah, welcome.
On this same issue of herdsmen, what I want to really ask, because it's a very disturbing issue. First of all, these cows, are they not private business owned, or they are federal cows that we are having these issues of providing ranches and all these things for them? Then, secondly, why is Mr. President finding it hard to issue a statement regarding this herdsmen operation? Because we saw what happened regarding IPOP. I think you should carry out the same instruction, the same actions, so that this menace will be brought to an end. Because look at what El-Rufai said the other time, Governor of Kaduna, that these people are actually foreigners. So if foreigners are coming in to attack innocent Nigerians, that means there is a failure in the security system. The life of Nigerians is at risk.
All right, Samson. Many thanks. Yusuf, you want to expand that in reacting to statement?
Everything on this that we have discussed here today stops at the table of President Muhammadu Buhari.
As President, Commander
There's
in Chief?
nothing. Ambode is in Lagos, and he has been able to do massive job in giving security and everything. If he doesn't have the backing of the presidency, there's nothing he can do. There's nothing he can do. If you like, set up a neighborhood watch, set up whatever. The moment you don't enjoy the support of the police and the military, that's the end of that. Whatever. So the president should just please help this country. This is not the first time we are having insecurity, challenges. But now it has gone to a level that we have never witnessed. That a group will be we have so much impunity that after killing and killing and killing, it will still be issuing out threats in the media and everywhere that they are just starting. And the presidency is keeping quiet, and his aides will now say it is unfair to link the president to this. What kind of aid is that? I don't want to hear from such aides.
Okay. All right, then the debate will continue. Security is everybody's concern. The message from here is simple. Mr. President, you are number one, Commander-in-Chief, and President, please act. Now, still to come, President Buhari orders background checks on judges. You want to stay with us? Okay then, welcome back. In 2015, President Muhammadu Buhari said the judiciary was a big clog in the wheels of his anti-corruption campaign. His statements stirred a lot of reactions. Nigerians saw what appeared at best as a publicity stunt that saw to the arrest of some suspected judges. In a matter of months, the judiciary, quaked some judges. The judiciary quaked, and some judges were shown the door. With a lot of public outcry on the judiciary, the National Judicial Council, NJC, swung into action as it put some judges on trial and sanctioned some for misconduct. In the events that followed its investigations, the NJC submitted a list of new judges to Mr. President in 2017, but the list is yet to be approved. A national newspaper says Mr. President has ordered a background check on the judges. How long will it take Mr. President to approve the list? Something we should discuss here. The common man looks, we are told, regards the judiciary as the last bus stop for him to seek redress. Yeah. So, but when there's trouble with judges, with the bench, then it appears all hope is lost.
Yes.
Now we are conducting a check, a background check on judges.
It's necessary.
Too little, too late?
It's necessary because some of these judges, as high court judges, were already reputed for corruption. So the important thing to do is to not let them go higher in the profession. You remember the case of a judge who deliberately didn't allow a case involving a lawmaker in Ogun State to proceed until the end of, until after 4 years. So that if she effectively denied that lawmaker justice, because as long as the case was not decided before the end of that dispensation, there was no way it could have unseated the
man who occupied the seat.
Who was occupying the seat.
Wrongfully.
So, yes. So, and what did the NJC do? The NJC said, okay, for this, we are going to ensure that the next set of promotion you are denied. I don't think that is the way to punish a judge. A judge who caused miscarriage of justice to happen deserved to have been sent out of the system. So there are still so many judges who are corrupt, who are in the system. Some of them are appeal court judges. There's a lot of corruption at the level of the appeal courts. Some of them are in the Supreme Court already. Some of them are federal high court judges. You see the cases before the NJC. Those cases are many. And the NJC doesn't decide cases in good time. One of these judges that this judge that I talked about is now facing criminal trial for extortion and illegal accumulation of wealth. But if some checks had been done, maybe she would have been sent packing from the judiciary before now. Because Justice Aniagolu said something that judges are next to God. Therefore, judges must be above board. Judges must not, they must not demonstrate corruption. Because a corrupt judge is worse than an armed robber. Because you can't go before a corrupt judge and expect to get justice. It's justice for the highest bidder. So that should not be happening. And there's no way Mr. President can achieve his aim of defeating corruption or his goal of defeating corruption if the corrupt judges are all over the place. So I can understand why they are doing these background checks. Remember that the man who is the vice president of this nation now, he did a similar background check in Lagos. The moment Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu made him Attorney General of the state, he said he was going to reform the Lagos service and purge Lagos judiciary and purge it of corrupt judges. And he did that. And once he was through with it, women who used to occupy the back benches of the judiciary in Lagos,
the front line.
They came to the front line because Oshibajo kicked away those corrupt judges. They went to court, some of them, but at the end of the day, they achieved nothing. So we should be able to do that at the federal level. Let's continue to purge the system of corrupt judges.
And why not? Yusuf, mine is this. The background check will raise more questions than answers. Let me go through them one by one. What had the NJC been doing over the years in this regard? Is it begging the issue, the question?
You see, let's be very honest. We are Nigerians. whether you are in the judiciary, in the media, in the academia, wherever sphere of life you find yourself, it is extremely difficult to see truly honest men and women who can pass that kind of test.
Yeah.
But the truth is that some have been able to at least discipline themselves to a reasonable extent. I saw the list. I just laughed. I won't mention names because I know what some of these judges have done in the past. And these are public records, but I decided just to keep quiet. I don't want to spoil anybody's chances.
Okay.
I know the cases that they have to beg not to, so not to send petition to NJC and all that. But what Buhari is doing here, he should be careful. There are 3 arms of government. The job of the judiciary, of which NJC is part of, is to do this kind of things. Don't forget, the NJC is chaired by the Chief Justice of Nigeria.
Yeah.
Are you telling me...
And to quote you, he's a Nigerian.
Are you telling me that... Oh, are you telling me that many of these judges have not been screened? If they have been screened, I mean by the NJC, and when the NJC does this, does it mean they don't involve the security agencies? And if the executive, that is to say the presidency under Muhammadu Buhari, is interested in carrying out further background checks, it shouldn't have been turned to a media affair. It should have just been done secretly within the Ministry of Justice, I mean by the Attorney General of the Federation and all that, and the presidency. And very fast, you do whatever you want to do. What this president is just doing is that you are laying a very, very dangerous precedent.
Okay.
You are, president in the sense that anyone can come in the future and say, 1, 2, 3, the NJC sent the list of 3 of you to me, and I don't like Jide, just the security agencies. And you know the case of Magu. The security agencies are not from the planet.
They are Nigerians.
They are not from the paradise.
But you have just said that, but it will be on Nigerian.
Not to be a Nigerian.
So let me stop it there. Wale, again, so how do you now, like a cynic, how do you now redress suspected dubious judgments? Jide alluded to it earlier on. A man was denied justice. And later we came to know the justice was somebody heavily compromised.
You know, we started on the security note, and at the end of the day, this is the box stops on President Muhammadu Buhari's table. But to me, the summary of everything we discuss about security also has to do with this. It's a question of impunity. The NJC has not been doing its job for so long, because some of them are even godfathers to those who are corrupt.
Yes,
Whatever they collect, they have to give back to those of them who are their godfathers. On this one, I think President Muhammadu Buhari is very, very wrong, because the reality is that there are 3 arms of government in the federal system of government we are running. What he's doing is like telling the National Assembly before they are inaugurated that it needs to run background checks on their proposed principal officers. Whatever status the National Assembly leadership occupies, being the legislative arm of government, it is the same status that the judiciary also occupies.
Yeah.
If he's going to do it well, I'll just borrow a few words from what he mentioned earlier. Fine, the NDC should do the needful by doing whatever background check or checking on whoever they need to check. And they still have to borrow people from the security services. If I were to be president, the security services still report to me. The NJC is borrowing them to use them. The reports, it is this report that should come out, not this supposed PR thing, which in reality has even exposed what they wanted to do, which is wrong. Procedurally, it's a federal system of government. The executive cannot be dictating to the judiciary. Yeah, I mean, just like he cannot dictate to the legislature, telling them who to appoint, who is corrupt, who is not corrupt. It's not his business. If the security agencies have done their job, then for God's sake, leak it in the media and ensure, by way of informal this thing, Mr. CGN, now so we could look this and we could go like this. I mean, there is not just a question of order all the time. That I'm president, you are chief justice, you are this and that. There should be some kind of informal arrangements among them in which they make things work.
Yeah.
But trying to behave as if we are in a military system where the judiciary is under him, and no, it's wrong. The judiciary has its own procedure, which should be followed. The legislature has its own procedure, which should be followed.
And
that some people did not follow it initially does not mean it is right. No matter the kind of positive result the thing has brought out. You can't dictate.
Like it or not, all you have said takes us back to where we started from. The structure is defective. So it's a big job, Jide, looking at the structure, dismantling it, and coupling it.
Yes, but I do not see anything wrong in doing background checks on these judges, because it is well within the powers of the executive to do that.
Okay.
Yes. Of course, the police, the DSS, they are all under the executive. So you can't appoint just any judge to any position. You must do some checks. Appoint just any judge to any position. You must do some checks.
Yeah.
You know, that this has been leaked or is being talked about in the papers does not make it wrong. We can't, given what we have seen, given the level of corruption in the judiciary that even lawyers testify to, given what we have seen, look at the High Court judge who was arrested for 419 the other day in the North. So we cannot, if that one, if he committed the offense some years back, and it was not known to the rest of us, and that man rose to the level of maybe president of the Federal High Court, and someone generates a petition and records that so thing happened, that would be enough to kick him out of his position.
Let me quickly take Barua, Niger State. I hope I got that right. Welcome.
Thank you very much. Good evening, gentlemen.
Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I'm Banara from Niger State.
Oh, Banara. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
You see, it's really unfortunate what is happening within the judiciary. From all indications, it's like the NJC is finding it very difficult to take appropriate measures to punish erring judges.
Yes.
Look at what happened to Justice Salami. The whole thing became a scam. It was a very bad news all over the place. At the end of the day, what happened? And apart from that, we still have some bad lawyers who will always go and tell their client there are good judges that are good, who will deliver our judgment the way we want it.
Yeah.
This country should not move like that. From all indications, it's like since the demise of people like Justice Showemimo, Atanda Fatai Williams, and then the Ademola Adetokunbo, it's unfortunate that this country, up to this moment, is yet to produce a class of judges that will sit to situations like this.
Thank you. Begs the question of how did we get here?
Even in Ghana recently, judges were picked up for corruption. So the thing is, we can't see judges misbehaving the way they are misbehaving. Some of them even live as judges. They retire, and they will be couriers. There will be people through whom litigants send money to other judges. All these things are in the public domain.
I'm only trying to reconcile what he said. Hold on. I'm only trying to reconcile.
No, I'm responding. I'm saying that
said.
it is not, the president was not wrong in saying that. And that was why I gave the example of Shibajo here, because Shibajo was mandated by Tinubu, who was governor, to do the background checks and rid the judiciary of corrupt judges. And the Lagos judiciary is better for it now.
Did not in any way tinker with the three layers, you know, the judiciary, executive, and...
the challenge you have is that we don't want to follow due process in Nigeria because certain things are wrong. You want to do it because you need results. Yeah, you need results. But in getting your result, you are going to create because you won't give room for growth. You won't give room for improvement. Each arm of government should develop on its own. You see, that's why I used myself as an example the other time. Impunity remains our problem. There is nothing wrong in a policeman walking up to you or Jide. If Jide is a Senate president or whatever, you don't have immunity to arrest you on the road there. Yeah. They discover that before they make an arrest, call it EFCC, call it police, they don't do it on their own. They follow instruction from there.
Yeah.
Somebody has to give instruction, and that's not just it. And that's why I'm saying that each arm of government you understand, should be allowed to develop on its own. Free these people, like the police we are talking about, which has also to do with security. It's political control of everything until Mr. Lagbaja directs Lagbaja to go and do this or that. People should know their job now and do it. Those who don't do it should be sanctioned, should be exposed, should be ridiculed, should be put to shame.
It is well within our laws for those background checks to be done outside, to be done not by even the NJC. It is well within our laws.
Who gives direction?
Of course, the executive can give direction.
You see, what Jide is saying what Jide is saying is actually right, but making it a big issue as it has become is the problem I have. Believe me, a leader should be thinking beyond now, beyond today. But what the president has done, what has been done is actually good, but the process is faulty because it is prone to abuse in the future.
You reminded us as if we never knew. We were all Nigerians. Won't it be un-Nigerian to do it secretly and then the conspiracy theorists will take over?
Remember, don't ever think that we can have the Kayode shots of this world now.
In the 21st century?
I don't think so. Nobody can tell me that. I will tell you.
I don't think so.
No,
there are still
we don't have as many
Kayode shots.
No, I know there are citizens, but when you see the Kayode shots, go and read.
In terms of their brilliance and all that.
Go and read the judgments. Go and read the judgments that you have today. Thank God, many of these things are public records. Yeah. We don't have them. But we are now saying, but the one we have, especially those that are still morally upright, believe me, fine, we thank them for their sacrifice and all that. What this president is doing is that he wants as many judges like that to be, available. But the process, you just have to think beyond today. What he's doing now is prone to abuse it tomorrow.
Okay, Jide, before I forget it, the NJC has recommended the compulsory retirement of Justices Adeni Ademola and Segun Tokoda.
Yes, and how did they do? Typical NJC, vacillating, not deciding in good time. When Ademola now resigned.
No, the NJC didn't resign.
They said no. Meanwhile, it was since April. If they wanted to take a decision against this man, they would have taken. They received the petition in April. This NJC, they never decide on time. People will petition, lawyers' petitions will be with them. They will not take action. That was why the DSS was forced to go and raid those judges, because these guys, you report them to the NJC. In any case, the Chief Justice of Nigeria should never head the NJC. It should be a retired not someone who is still in the system. Yeah. Because that is what lawyers are saying. You petition against a particular judge, and that judge, because his own colleagues who are still in the system are sitting in judgment, they make sure that justice is not served. NJC always delays and delays. And it happened here. It happened with the chief judge in Abuja too, Justice Gumi. Yeah. After Gumi had become the emir of Gumi, after he left office and became emir of Gumi, you now passed a judgment on him. Somebody who was no longer a judge. So the guy went to court.
Medicine after death.
So how do you do that? These are the people that will wait to sanitize the judiciary. If anybody thinks it's the NJC that will sanitize the judiciary, that person is in for a long time. They will not stand. In fact, the people on the NJC board themselves, a lot of them deserve to be sanitized out of agency.
Wale, let's begin to take this home. In trying to forge or foster a saner society, not to say we are not sane, please, a much more...
a better Nigeria society.
Better Nigeria. Mr. President, you are not saying you should not make haste. Should he do it slowly?
He needs to be fast in doing it. Okay. But he should follow due process. He should be fast in doing it, but he should follow due process. But the most important is that he needs to be president of all Nigerians. He needs to be firm, and he needs to act on time. He should be faster than what he's doing now.
How do you sum it all up?
I want my president to start thinking about the future. Whether he wants to recontest or not, he should be thinking about his legacies now. Whatever anybody, whether it's aides or political job seekers, he should just be thinking about in the future what history will say about him.
Jide?
The best thing the president can do for me is to kick into touch some of the people around him.
Okay.
He needs to kick them into touch. They don't mean well. They can't even pass the test of loyalty even to the president. They are selfish individuals. They don't mean well for our country. They don't mean well for the president. He needs to look at some of those people around him and chase some of them away. If he chases a few of them away, we know some of those guys, but we don't want to mention their name. If he would just summon the courage, the willpower to chase away some of these very close people around him, honestly, there will be sanity in our land.
Especially the cabals.
Oh, come on. You are close your thoughts. Please, let's wind up and begin to go. It is said that a team is as good as a captain. We trust that Mr. Captain, Mr. President, and Commander-in-Chief is listening. We wish him well. That's all on Journalist Hangout today. Join us tomorrow for another interesting episode of the program. Watch a repeat broadcast of this particular one at 11. Join us as well on Journalist Hangout on other platforms showing on the screen and on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC. Journalist Hangout, we have another one, which is Journalist Hangout at tvcnews.tv. I am Citizen Jones Hussein. Bye-bye for now. Take care.